Hi guys, it's Marianne. So yesterday was Labor Day, 2024, September 2nd, and we had a super fun craftathon all afternoon. We did Monday Jumpstart at noon for an hour, and then we had a bunch of friends from a bunch of other channels. There was 9 or 10 of us total, and we just had a craftathon for the rest of the afternoon, and it was super fun. Everybody was working on whatever they wanted to work on. Well, I didn't want to work on a project that I have going, and so I was playing with Panpastels and the gel plate. So I had a request to film this to show you kind of the process of what happened here. This is all experimental because I haven't used the Panpastels with the gel plate before, had no idea what to expect. I am in love with Panpastels. They're so easy to use, they're so creamy, so soft, and just easy to use. And even though I've done a ton with them already, you can't, I mean, you can tell that I put a brush over the top of them, but you cannot tell that there's no indent. They're going to last forever. They just are going to last forever. I have these little tools like this with a little foamy thing that goes over the end. You can use anything. You can use brushes with your hand. You can use some sponges, but it picks up plenty. They're very, very full of color, and it spreads really far. So anyway, if you haven't tried Panpastels, you may want to consider it because they're gorgeous. So here's what I was doing. I took these, let me start with the first one. The first one, I put paper behind it so you could see this stencil, because I know the stencil just reflects and glares and it's really hard to see. But this stencil is a lot of flowers and script just kind of throughout. Now, the stencil is like 12 by, well, it's 17 maybe, 12 by 17. The gel plate I was working on is 12 by 14. So these stencils were large enough to cover the whole gel plate, which was absolutely perfect. Now, why I didn't think about pulling out 11 by 17 paper, I have no idea. I have 2 reams of it, but I didn't because I was just sitting here talking and laughing and crafting, and didn't. So each print took 2 pieces of paper. So I put this one down, and then I just took my brushes and used Panpastels and just basically filled in color where I wanted it. I made it a nice, slow, casual process, and really, really enjoyed it. Put multiple colors, so it wasn't just solid green for the leaves, 2 or 3 different colors, and they kind of all blended together and looked really cool. Anyway, let me show you what I got there. So you'll see the evolution of these things as we go. So that was the stencil. Keep that paper in case we need it there. So this was the pull. So remember, everything took 2 pieces of paper because I didn't think to pull out 11 by 17. So I pulled it up with an old ivory, a Stamperia old ivory. And so you can see all the flowers and you see the script behind it. And it looks really cool. It looks like a really, really old wallpaper. Okay, so set that aside. So the next one was this stencil, a little easier to see, some bright colors behind it. They're just kind of bursts, sunbursts, starbursts, and this one actually got bent when it was being shipped, and I guess I could put something over it and then press it down, and I just haven't. It kind of sticks, it's pretty thin, sticks to the gel plate when I put it down. So I laid this one down, and again, just took the color, and I used this bright yellow, and this bright orange, and this magenta, and went to town with that. And then the dark spots here are a really dark magenta, almost a deep purple. And then I lifted it with a metallic gold. And that is really, really cool. I didn't leave this one, when I put the metallic gold on, I could have left the paper down longer before I picked it up, and it would have picked up all the rest of it, but kind of got in a hurry, wanted to move on and try something else, and so I went ahead and pulled it, And so we've got a lot of these scratchy spots. But in the end, I think I like them. And everybody that was with us said they liked those a lot because it looks like the old wallpaper and it's all, you know, torn and used, faded. Okay, so here's the third and last stencil I was using. And this is, you can see it very well right there, just a bunch of sunbursts. So I used 3 colors. I used the magenta and this bright orange and this bright blue. I took those 3 and I just colored in different ones throughout just so they would be kind of sort of random. I was just having fun coloring. It was like coloring in a coloring book, but coloring on my gel plate, which was awesome. Okay, so here was my plan. And this is how I'm going to show you how things work with the gel plate. And you never know what you're going to get. And there are some rules that you could apply that can help. And if you don't, what you're going to get anyway. So I put the bright color down. My intention was to pull it with black. And I would have a black background with all the bright color bursts on top of it. What I didn't think about was if I pull it with black, that black is just going to absorb right into those colors and I won't have those bright colors on top of the black. And so this is what I got when I pulled it. Now I can tell which ones were the bright orange. They do have a little bit of a contrast there. And these are actually kind of cool. I can't tell if they were magenta or blue at all. It's picked up a bunch of gold from the previous pull, which is really awesome because it looks crazy cool. There's something about it that I really like, although it is absolutely nothing like I intended to get. Okay, so after picking that up, I could still see plenty of pastels on the gel plate. And so I thought, well, I'm going to try it again. This time, I will pull it with white. Well, not white. It was the old ivory. So I just put old ivory over the plate and to pull up whatever pastel was still sitting there, just residue. And this is what I got. And I love how it picked up some of the black and things from previous layers all over the place. Really nice and grungy, nice and scratchy, and really cool. So then I got to thinking, well, there's got to be a way that I can get the black and get that bright color. And through talking it through with those that were there with me and suggestions, realized that if I put the bright color down, it's got to have a light or white backing to maintain its color. And so I went ahead and did the whole thing over again. Put the stencil down, put all the bright colors in all of it, left the stencil down, and I took a white, just a stark white paint, and went over that entire stencil. So the entire thing was covered. I wish I had taken a picture at that point. I did not. I should have. So when I picked the stencil up, I had this design, and all I could see was white, bright white, because underneath it was the color. So I let that completely dry. Then I rolled the black paint over it to pick up the whole thing, thinking that the black paint is the background I want. The white will be the barrier between the black paint and my color that I want, so it won't absorb into the black. And this is what I got, which is exactly what I wanted the first time. The black background, the bright colors. How cool is that? So nice and grungy because we've got a lot of things from previous layers. You can see a little bit of the white there where it maybe went over and went under the stencil a little bit. I'm okay with that. I think the whole thing looks pretty darn cool. Would have been maybe nice if I had thought about using 11 by 17 paper, but I didn't, and it's cool, and now I have 2 pages to work with. So this is the gel plate I was using. Look at that. You can still see so much of that, the pastels on there. So I could still pick this up with, maybe I'll try picking this up with a white, because this one was a second time residual layer, and I picked this up with old ivory. So if I try the same thing with a white and see how that turns out different than the old ivory, that will be really cool. So thanks for joining me. Hop on over to Facebook and join us in Happy Paper People with Marianne Facebook. Like and subscribe. Always appreciate that. And don't forget to join the membership club. We have some super fun perks with our membership club. I can't list them all on there, but jump in. You'll find out what they are as we get together each month. Love you guys. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.